Hey, and welcome to Borsellino Carpentry. So today's video is part 3 of a series of installing engineered hardwood flooring. Part 1 and 2 was coming up this stairwell, and part 3 is setting up, doing the layout, and getting everything ready and prepped for the hallway at the top of the stairs. So here it is. Okay, so here's the top of the stairs we're at, so I'm gonna have to put a nosing and then start running the flooring. And I've already got all the baseboard pulled off. This door trim was too high. That door trim was okay. I pulled the threshold out that went into the bathroom, and I had a little there's a little difference in the heights of the floors here, so I had to do a little work to get that even with the plywood. The new subfloor here, this was all redone years back, but that room was not, neither was that room. So just had to make it level with this room so that I can set the floor on top of that. And then we're going to come into the master bedroom, and all this baseboard is going to have to get pulled off. This was all set for carpeting, but that never got installed. Went with hardwoods instead, so we're going to pull this baseboard off and then into the master closet as well. So that's the setup. Here we go. All right, so first thing I got to do is at this door jamb. I got to cut this so that the flooring will be able to slide underneath it. And I'll use a chisel just to finish that off. All right, so now flooring slides right underneath there. And we'll do that on all the jambs as we go around. So there and 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 there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is cut the nosing. And I've got the nosing is going to go here, and then an 8-inch board is going to go there. And like I've done all these, I'm just going to cut the nosing straight. I would consider notching this in. It's all going to get covered by base, so the base is going to line right up with this crack. And I'd rather do this cut with the miter saw because I can get a much nicer cut than if I cut it and then had to cut that with a jigsaw or something to make this notch. So it's also, this wall's kind of kicked out a little bit, so it's not perfectly square. And this is not perfectly square, so I used a bevel square to get both angles of the cut and also of the bevel of the miter, so that this looks really good. And so I'll cut that and then measure the length and cut the length. Okay, so I got this angle cut. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So it's going to be, looks like 37 exactly. Do this to get the angle there. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to set the saw to this bevel and then that angle and cut it, and it should fit right in. All right, so let's see here. Oh yeah, fit right in there. So that'll be like that, and then this 8-inch board is going to run in on both sides here like this. So I'll get that one cut. And I'm going to go with, let's see here. It's 43 1/8. I got to pull it off that wall a bit. I'm going to go 42 3/4. This is going to come in like this. So I've got some pencil marks here. That's how I'm going to make this notch look. So I'm gonna come in 1.5 inches. So it'll look like this. This will be 1.5 inches, which is this direction. And then this notch is going to be 4 1/8, and 42 3/4 my length. Okay, so that fits in there pretty nice. Now this doorway is not square with the stairs and everything, and to get this line, you know, I had to run right off of this, but also when this was set up originally, I snapped lines everywhere to make sure this was going to run good. And you notice that this is shimmed out a bit to make sure that the stairs were square in the hallway. So like on this side, you can see it's perfectly square with this wall. But on this side, this doorway, this house is 1870, so nothing is straight and square. So over here, I'm gonna have to cut this angle to be good with that. So I'm gonna get a temporary board and put it in here so that I can have something to butt them all up to, because this is gonna have carpet running in here. So we just need to have a nice clean line. Okay, so I've got a board here, and basically what I'm doing is I'm just gonna set this board so that it's halfway, so that when the door is closed, the seam of the carpet and the flooring lands right in the middle of the door. So basically I'm just going to center this, pop a couple screws in it. So now when I slide this board up to here, I can see that that angle's off. And I'm going to mark it right on here with this pencil, just scribe it. And I'll recut that and we'll check it. Okay, so I got that cut. Fits right in there. That looks pretty good. So that's right at 1 degree on the saw. So I should be able to cut all of these at 1 degree and it'll work out fine. Now I've just got to figure out the layout for this room and figure out what size boards I want to use. This is random sized, well, not random flooring, but there's 4-inch, 8-inch, and 6-inch widths. So I got a bunch of scraps. I'm going to lay out flooring to see how I land in the doorways and on this corner and into here, and then up against the wall and into the bathroom, just to make sure I don't have any like weird little sliver pieces or anything. Nobody ever pays attention to this kind of stuff anyway. It's just me. I'm crazy. And it lines up good with that door. Lines up good with that door. Lines up good with that door. Good with that door. So I think it's good. All right, so here's the pattern I've got. 8, 4, 6, 8, 4, 6, 4, 6, 8, 4, 6, 8, 6, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so the last thing I like to do is just mark as I'm pulling these back out so I know what goes where. I don't have to try to remember. So I just make a mark on there, right? This one's 6. This one's a 4. I made a mark all along this one because, again, these are going to get glued down, and then I'm going to put a spline in here, which basically, you know, this is all tongue and groove. They'll go together, but I started this because this has a groove in it, so this one had to have the tongue that way. And so there's going to be 2 grooves together. So we make a spline, which is basically just a double groove to stick in the gap so that they will stay together. So I got to make a spline and start cutting these, and I'll glue these down and nail it all in so that the glue and everything's all set. Okay, so I got everything all laid out. can see here I got all my cuts. Tried to make it so there's no cuts near each other. It took quite a while and laying it out and redoing it because they're not random length. The boards are all like 2 or 3 lengths. Like there's 2 lengths of the 6-inch, and there's 2 lengths of the 8-inch, and then there's 4 lengths of the 4-inch, and every once in a while there's a really long 4-inch board. So I had to lay this out in a way that there weren't any seams near each other. It took quite a while. So it is snowing. I'm gonna have to plow tonight, so I'm gonna stop this for today. I'm gonna mark everything as I'm pulling it out so that I know where all the cuts are, and then get back into this another day. Okay, so I have them all stacked in order, starting at the nosing and working my way all the way across. And so I picked them up from this end and stuck them on the wall, and then the next one, so like the one that's on top is the one that goes all the way at the other end. So I don't really have to do any thinking when I go to put these back in, other than just cutting. And I've got everything all marked out on the floor. You can see 6s, 4s, and there's like where the seams are. So everything's all figured out. I'll just have to vacuum and cut them all, and then run paper underneath before I nail them down, and that'll be it. Alright, so I am back on day 2. Got the floor all marked out, and I had set all the boards over there, and I forgot I have to take that piece of baseboard off, as well as all the baseboard in this room, before I can do this room. It's already off in the hallway. So I'm going to pull that baseboard off, and then I've got to cut all the the door jambs so the flooring will slide underneath it, and give everything a vacuum, and then I'll be ready to lay the flooring. So I'm going to prep all this, and I'll be right back. So originally this was set up for carpet, which is why it's up in the air like this. You tuck the carpet underneath. So I've got to pull all the baseboard off, and to do that it's all caulked in and glued, so this piece is probably going to be shot, but basically you use a razor blade and you just want to stick it in behind there just enough to be able to cut the caulk line. Because what happens is if you don't cut the caulk line and you try to pull this off, it can peel the paint and the drywall up. So you're just scoring it to separate the baseboard from the wall. Okay, so then I use I have one of these really thin flat bar kind of deals that I stick in. I'll hammer that in and then use a regular pry bar the rest of the way. This helps it not damage the wall. Once I got that open, I was able to put a bigger pry bar in. And you got to be very careful, because if you're not on a stud, you can just bust right through the drywall. You see, it took that corner bead off, so I'll just have to do a little drywall repair here, stick some mud in there, and pull all the nails. Well, thanks for watching. Here is a link to part 4, which will be the installation of this hallway. And if you like what you saw in this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. and I will see you on the next video.